This is not a love story. It's not a happy story either. And it's certainly not a good story, at least not in the traditional sense. Instead, it's a reflection on life, love, and the human experience. It's a way of looking at the world from a different perspective, one that doesn't rely on guilt, sadness, or regret. Too often, we are caught up in our own emotions and experiences, unable to see the world from any other perspective. We become trapped in our own thoughts, our own desires, and our own fears. But what if we could break free from these limitations? What if we could see the world in a different way, one that is not bound by our own biases or preconceptions? This is what this is about. It's an attempt to break free from the limitations of our own experience, to see the world in a different way, and to understand that different people have different perspectives. It's not an easy task, and it's certainly not a comfortable one. But it's necessary if we want to truly understand ourselves and the world around us. So if you're looking for a love story, a happy story, or a good story, this may not be for you. But if you're open to new perspectives and new ways of seeing the world, then I invite you to join me on this journey. At one point in my life, social media was everything. It was where I spent most of my time, checking updates, posting photos, and scrolling through feeds. My friends, job, and energy were all intertwined with these platforms. It was hard to imagine life without them. But as time passed, I began to feel a sense of emptiness. I realized that I had spent so much time on these platforms, but what did I really have to show for it? Sure, I had some likes and comments, but did that really matter? Was that a true measure of my worth? Over the course of 2 years, I slowly began to distance myself from social media. I deleted some accounts, unfollowed people, and made a conscious effort to spend less time on these platforms. It wasn't easy at first, as I had become so accustomed to this way of life. But as I started to spend more time away from social media, I began to feel a sense of freedom. I was no longer tied to my phone or computer, constantly checking for updates. Instead, I was able to focus on other things in my life that truly mattered, spending time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, and taking care of myself. Looking back now, social media feels like a distant memory. It's a nostalgic feeling, but not one I necessarily miss. I'm grateful for the lessons it taught me, but also for the opportunity to let go and prioritize what's truly important in life. The COVID-19 pandemic has been a challenging time for many of us. It has forced us to confront our own mortality, to reckon with our own vulnerabilities, and to adapt to a rapidly changing world. For some, the pandemic has been a wake-up call, an opportunity to reflect on their lives and make meaningful changes. Maybe they've realized that their job wasn't fulfilling, or that they were neglecting their health, or that they weren't spending enough time with their loved ones. In these cases, the pandemic has provided a unique opportunity for self-reflection and personal growth. The chaos and uncertainty of the world around them have forced them to take stock of their own lives, to re-evaluate their priorities, and to make changes that will help them to be happier, healthier, and more fulfilled. For others, however, the pandemic has been more of the same. They've continued to live their lives without much reflection, without much thought for the deeper questions of existence. Maybe they've spent too much time scrolling through social media, or watching mindless TV, or distracting themselves with other forms of entertainment. In these cases, the pandemic has been a missed opportunity, a chance to reflect on their lives and make meaningful changes that have gone unheeded. Of course, we all respond to difficult times in our own way, and there's no one right way to navigate a crisis. But it's worth remembering that the pandemic has forced us all to confront some difficult questions about our lives, our society, and our world. And while it's tempting to simply ignore these questions and distract ourselves with the mundane, it's worth taking the time to reflect on what really matters in life, and to make changes that will help us to live our best lives. I've always been a bit of an introverted person, but over time I've found myself withdrawing more and more from social situations. Day after day, I choose to keep my distance from others, preferring to spend my time alone with my thoughts. I can't help but be consumed with the concept of entropy and how it applies to society. To me, it seems that society is nothing more than an exercise in how humans can coexist while going against their natural tendencies. I see patterns of decay and disorder everywhere I look, and the more I observe, the more I become convinced that social interaction only leads to chaos and destruction. It's been a difficult journey, but I've come to realize that my withdrawal is not a symptom of societal decay but rather a means of self-preservation. I no longer feel the need to adapt myself or feel guilty for my social awkwardness or odd behavior. In fact, I feel better now that I don't have to feel any type of feeling for anyone. I find solace in my own thoughts and the quiet of my own company. I may never fully understand the complexities of society and its eventual decline, but I am content in knowing that I can navigate life on my own terms. For me, learning to produce electronic music has been a transformative experience. As I immerse myself in the process of creating and refining sounds, I am transported to another world where the only thing that matters is the music. There is a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment that comes with each new track I create, as I hone my skills and explore new avenues of creativity. But beyond that, there is also a deep nostalgia that is awakened within me. As I work on my music, I am reminded of the rare and memorable moments from my past when I was lost in the rhythm of the night, surrounded by the dirt, grass, and sand of the rave. Those were times when the music was everything, and the rest of the world faded away into the background. In those moments, I felt a sense of freedom and release that is hard to come by in everyday life. And now, as I learn to produce my own music, I am able to tap into that same feeling once again. It's a self-centered experience, yes, but it is also one that is filled with deep personal meaning and nostalgia. Learning to produce electronic music has been a revelatory experience for me. As I spend countless hours exploring the intricate web of sounds and rhythms that make up each track, I feel a sense of joy and jubilation that is hard to describe. But at the same time, my experiences with electronic music have also raised some difficult questions for me. As I contemplate the anthropic forces at work in every aspect of life around me, I am forced to confront the role of feelings in our lives. At this point in my introspective journey, I find myself grappling with the inexplicable nature of emotions. Why do we feel the way we do? What is the purpose of emotions in a universe where entropy is the ultimate goal of every single atom? These are difficult questions to answer, and I often find myself turning to my music as a way to explore and process these complex issues. For me, the experience of creating electronic music is deeply personal and introspective. It is a way to connect with the universe on a fundamental level and explore the deepest aspects of my own psyche. And yet, even as I revel in the beauty and complexity of electronic music, I am also mindful of the importance of not causing harm or damage to others. I recognize that my experiences with music are valid only insofar as they do not cause pain or suffering for others. In this way, my journey with electronic music is both deeply personal and also intimately connected to the larger world around me. It is a reminder that even as we explore the deepest aspects of our own souls, we must also be mindful of the impact that our actions and feelings can have on those around us. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about the idea that we should not feel guilty for not being around when things change. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we are somehow responsible for the world around us, that everything that happens is somehow connected to us personally. But the truth is, this simply isn't the case. The world is a vast, complex place, and there are countless forces at work that shape the course of history. Sometimes, changes happen that have nothing to do with us personally, and we should not feel guilty for not being present to witness them. I believe that it's important to share this idea with others, especially in a world where guilt and shame are all too common. We should not blame ourselves for things that are beyond our control, or for not being present during times of change. Of course, this is not to say that we should be passive or disengaged from the world around us. We should always strive to be engaged, to be present, and to make a positive difference wherever we can. But at the same time, we should also recognize that the world is bigger than any one person, and that the changes that take place are often the result of forces that are beyond our control. Ultimately, I believe that by letting go of our guilt and accepting the world as it is, we can free ourselves to live more fully and joyfully in the present moment. It's a message that I hope to share with others, as we all strive to navigate the complex and ever-changing world around us. As humans, we all experience feelings of missing people who have been important to us. It's a natural part of the human experience, and something that we all have to grapple with at some point in our lives. But what if we could use these feelings to make a positive impact on others? What if we could channel our longing for certain people into something productive and beneficial for those around us? I believe that this is not only possible, but necessary if we want to lead fulfilling and meaningful lives. We should not let our feelings of missing people consume us or drive us to despair. Instead, we should use them as a catalyst for positive change. Of course, this is easier said than done. It can be incredibly difficult to confront our guilt and accept that we cannot control the actions or choices of others. But it's important that we try, because in doing so we can make a real difference in the lives of those around us. The key is to be realistic and accept that our thoughts and desires are often driven by selfishness. We may want certain people to be present in our lives, but this does not mean that we have the right to control their choices or actions. Instead, we should focus on what we can do to help others, even if it means accepting that our own desires may not be fulfilled. We can volunteer our time, donate to charitable causes, or simply be there for those who need us. In doing so, we can make a positive impact on the world around us, and honor the memory of those who we miss. It's not an easy path, but it's one that can lead to a life filled with meaning and purpose. Love and respect are often associated with constant presence and attention, but I believe that absence can also demonstrate these emotions. Sometimes, being physically apart can allow people to appreciate and value each other even more. It can also provide space and time to grow as individuals, which can ultimately benefit the relationship. However, it's important to note that the context of the absence matters. If someone chooses to distance themselves in a way that causes harm or neglect to their loved ones, then it's not a loving act. But if the absence is for the better, such as taking time to heal or work on personal growth, then it can be an act of love and respect. In essence, presence is not the only way to show love and respect. Absence can also be a powerful expression of these emotions, as long as it's done with the right intentions and for the betterment of the relationship. Each individual has the right to view and experience the world in their own unique way. While some people may choose to conform to social norms and beliefs, others may choose to go against the grain and forge their own path. It's important to respect each person's right to choose their own beliefs, values, and actions, even if they don't align with our own. At the end of the day, we all have different life experiences and perspectives that shape our worldview. These differences should be celebrated rather than criticized or judged. It's through embracing diversity that we can learn from one another and grow as individuals and as a society. So, while it's okay to have our own opinions and beliefs, we should never force them onto others or judge them for being different. Let's choose to respect each other's unique perspectives and embrace the diversity that makes our world a beautiful and complex place. As I write these words from beyond the veil, I feel a sense of liberation that I never experienced in life. It is as if death has given me the freedom to speak my mind without fear of judgment or consequence. In life, I often struggled to find my voice and to express my true thoughts and feelings. But now, in death, I am free to share my insights and wisdom with the world. Throughout my life, I often felt the weight of the world on my shoulders. I was burdened by the opinions and expectations of others, and I struggled to find my place in society. But now, looking back from the other side, I realized that none of it really mattered. It didn't matter what other people thought of me, or what I thought of them. It didn't matter what society expected of me, or what I expected of it. The only thing that truly mattered was finding my own path and following it with integrity and passion. I now realize that life is too short to waste on trivial pursuits or on trying to please others. Life is meant to be lived fully, with purpose and meaning. It is up to each of us to decide what that purpose is, and to pursue it with all of our heart and soul. For me, that purpose was always about finding my voice and sharing my thoughts and ideas with the world. And now, in death, I am finally able to do just that. So, to all of you who are still living, I urge you to take the time to reflect on your own lives and to find your own path. Don't let the opinions and expectations of others hold you back. Don't be afraid to be true to yourself, and to follow your own passions and dreams. Life is too precious to waste on anything less. And when the time comes for you to pass on, I hope that you too will feel the sense of liberation and freedom that I now feel. For in death, there is no judgment, no fear, and no regret. There is only the eternal beauty of life, waiting to be embraced by all who have lived it with courage, conviction, and love. As someone who has passed on, I urge everyone reading this to take a moment to reflect on their lives. Ask yourself, what really matters to me? Is it your career, your family, your friends, your hobbies, or something else entirely? Whatever it may be, I encourage you to focus on it and not waste your precious time on things that don't bring you joy or fulfillment. Life is short, and we never know when it will end. So, it's crucial to make the most of every moment and live life to the fullest. Don't waste your time and energy on things that don't matter to you, and don't let others dictate your path in life. Only you know what's best for you, and it's up to you to pursue it. Remember, life is a precious gift, and you only get one shot at it. So, don't waste it on things that don't bring you happiness or fulfillment. Find what matters to you and pursue it with all your heart. You'll be surprised at how much more fulfilling your life will become when you do what you love. In a world filled with endless distractions and constant stimulation, it can be difficult to focus on meaningful activities that truly enrich our lives. The internet, for all its incredible potential to connect us with information and people from around the world, is often the source of these distractions. It's all too easy to get sucked into mindless scrolling through social media feeds or binge watching videos on YouTube. But amidst all this noise, there are still people who are using the internet for more productive and meaningful pursuits. Take this conversation we're having, for example. Despite all the distractions and competing content out there, we're using this technology to connect and share knowledge in a way that's truly valuable. Sure, we might not be able to compete with the latest viral dance craze on TikTok or the millions of silly cat videos on YouTube. But that's not the point. The point is that we're using the internet for something deeper and more meaningful, something that has the potential to enrich our lives and the lives of others. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by the endless stream of distractions on the internet, remember that there are still people out there using it for good. And if you're looking to make a positive impact, perhaps you can find your own way to use this incredible tool for something meaningful as well. Using Chat GPT as a tool, I was able to write these texts with the goal of sharing another way of using our time for knowledge. Anyone can use this tool by simply asking for information and specifying the desired content in a certain way. The internet has made a vast amount of information available to us, and Chat GPT is just one example of how we can use it to expand our understanding of the world around us. While there are certainly many distractions online, I believe that it's important to make an effort to prioritize our time and use it in a meaningful way. By using tools like Chat GPT, we can make the most of our time and continue to learn and grow as individuals. In the past couple of years, I have come to realize that I may be dealing with some form of depression or similar condition. Although I have never been formally diagnosed, learning about the inner workings of the mind has helped me understand that my struggles are real and valid. Strangely, I don't feel particularly upset about this revelation. Instead, it's almost a relief to know that there is a reason behind my experiences. It's comforting to think that with this newfound understanding, I can work towards managing my mental health in a way that works for me. Overall, while it's not always easy to come to terms with our own struggles, I believe that taking the time to reflect and seek help can be incredibly beneficial. It's a good feeling to know that I can move forward with a better understanding of myself and a plan for the future. The time for feeling lost and confused is over, and I'm looking forward to what comes next. In life, we all make decisions that sometimes lead us to unexpected paths. It can be a scary and uncertain process, but it's important to remember that every step we take is a chance for growth and self-discovery. If you're reading this book, know that you're not alone in your journey. We all face challenges and setbacks, but it's important to recognize that these experiences shape who we are and can ultimately lead us to a better place. It's okay to feel overwhelmed or unsure at times, but try to trust in the process and have faith that things will work out in the end. And if you're struggling, know that there are people who care about you and want to help. Don't be afraid to reach out for support and guidance. Finally, let's not forget the people who have impacted our lives and helped shape us into who we are today. Whether it's a friend, family member, or even a stranger, take a moment to remember and honor their influence on your life. And if you can, pay it forward by sharing your own knowledge and experiences with others who may be struggling on their own journey. Together, we can create a community of empathy, understanding, and support. Finding peace is one of the most precious moments in life. Sometimes, it happens unexpectedly, without any specific reason. It can come out of nowhere, just like a light bulb that suddenly turns on in the darkness. I'm at peace, and I know that whoever is reading this can be at peace too. It's not about having a perfect life or being successful in every aspect of it. It's about being content with what you have and where you are in life, and accepting that some things are beyond your control. The peace I'm feeling comes from within, and it's a state of mind that is independent of external factors. Life can be challenging, and it's easy to get caught up in the struggles and problems that come with it. But it's crucial to remember that peace is what we all ultimately want. We may mistake it for happiness, which we are told to pursue at all costs, even if it means sacrificing our peace of mind. Peace can be found in every little moment we experience, and it's up to us to embrace it. We should honor and cherish everyone who crosses our path, as they play a significant role in shaping our lives and making this knowledge available to those who seek it. Finding peace is a journey that starts from within. It's a state of mind that is independent of external factors, and it's a feeling that can be achieved by everyone. Let's embrace every little moment we have in life, and let's remember that peace is the ultimate goal that we all seek.